You know how we've spent the last 6 months convincing ourselves that the iPhone 18 Pro was finally going to be the megapixel monster? We were all ready for that massive 200 megapixel sensor to finally shut up the Samsung Ultra fans. Well, brace yourselves. Because Apple just looked at that rumor and effectively said, no thank you. A major report just dropped from Digital Chat Station, who is basically the Oracle of Delphi when it comes to supply chain leaks, and it turns out the iPhone 18 Pro hardware is finalized. And let me tell you, it is a complete 180 from what we expected. If you were holding out for that 200 megapixel camera, I have some bad news. It is dead. Or at least, it is in a coma until 2028. But, if you care about actual photo quality and not just big numbers on a spec sheet, this might actually be the best news you have heard all year. Here's the deal. The leak confirms that Apple is working on a 200 megapixel sensor with Samsung. That part was true. But, it is currently stuck in what they call the material evaluation phase. According to a note from Morgan Stanley, we probably won't see that sensor until the iPhone 21. Yes, iPhone 21. That is like 3 years of waiting. So, why the delay? Is Apple just being lazy? Actually, no. They are pivoting to something called multispectral imaging. Now, I know that sounds like technobabble from a sci-fi movie, but it is actually really cool. Current phone cameras see red, green, and blue. That's it. Multispectral sensors can see wavelengths that your eyes literally cannot see. This means the phone could tell the difference between skin texture and a plastic mannequin, or real grass versus fake turf, and adjust the image processing perfectly for each material. It is a huge leap in visual intelligence, but it is so complex that it pushed the megapixel upgrade back by years. So, if we aren't getting more pixels, what are we getting with the iPhone 18? We are getting a mechanical variable aperture. This is the feature that should have actual photographers drooling. The report says we are sticking with dual 48 megapixel sensors, but with a physical iris that opens and closes. Like a real camera lens. Right now, your iPhone has a fixed aperture. That is why sometimes, when you take a portrait mode photo, the edge of your hair looks blurry and weird. It is because the phone is guessing using software. With a variable aperture, the phone doesn't have to guess. In bright sunlight, the iris closes down to make landscapes razor sharp. In low light, it opens wide to suck in light naturally, without needing that grainy artificial night mode processing. Basically, Apple is betting that a 48 megapixel photo with real optical physics beats a 200 megapixel photo relying on software tricks. And honestly, they are probably right. But the camera isn't the only thing changing. We are finally getting the vanishing act. We have been hearing rumors about under-display Face ID for years, but the quality was never good enough. Until now. The leak details a new technology called micro-glass splicing. Essentially, Apple has figured out how to splice specialized glass panels that let infrared light pass through the screen, without you seeing the sensors underneath. This means the dynamic island, that pill-shaped cutout we have all just learned to live with, is effectively dead. We might still see a tiny barely there pinhole for the selfie camera, but we are looking at the highest screen-to-body ratio in iPhone history. This is the design reset we have been waiting for since the iPhone X came out nearly a decade ago. So, here is the big question for you. This is a classic quality versus quantity debate. Apple is skipping the flashy 200 megapixel marketing number to give us a physical mechanical lens and a full-screen display. Is 2028 too long to wait for the big resolution jump? Or would you rather have a physical aperture and a cleaner screen right now? Personally, I would take the mechanical lens any day of the week, but let me know what you think in the comments below. And hey, if you want to keep up with these leaks without having to read boring supply chain reports yourself, hit that subscribe button. I will catch you in the next one.